coming out with products that are not only affordable for, the mass consumer and making a luxury product more obtainable to others is still, especially with, producing sustainably and producing in small quantity, is one, producing a garment that someone will buy, will love, and find versatility use out of it. We try to do our best with, showing them how they can style a one piece as a bodysuit and those things, and having more of a one time than a one time use. But I think at the core of it, um, the problems that the fashion industry has now is just turning that big mindset of, what's luxury, what's contemporary fashion, and it just evolving from that, right? There's space for every new designer that comes out. There's space to do things differently, but the way that things have been done previously, are people's livelihood. So there's a lot of resistance to change. Change is hard because it's part of how, a garment gets made. So turning the industry on its head will be a slow and kind of painful process, as we see there's a lot of nuances to it, even producing sustainably. And, the question is always asked, are we really producing sustainably? So anytime we make a garment, there's a lot of outliers and variables that kind of make impact to the business, right? And then if that business through those changes can survive. I would say one thing is to just do your research, right? We, even as a sustainable designer and brand, we try to do as much research as we can. We try to come up with new and innovative products so our customers can keep shopping with us, which they do, and we love them for that. We get a lot of feedback, but we do, some customers that we're trying to bring into the fold want that new thing, and understanding how slow fashion is built to make sure that every piece of that garment is as sustainable as possible, that it has a different versatile use. It will take time, right? So we may not always have the best new trendy bikini, but we definitely will have a more thoughtful bikini. There's a lot of brands now and celebrity designers now that are getting in trouble for the continuation of this wholesaling junk material and waste. And we definitely keep up with the times and, the trends and things like that, and more stylish, elegant, timeless pieces. But Bold Swim is about slow, intentional fashion that is made from the heart by hands, because our swimwear is made by hands. So it will take a little bit of time to develop those pieces that are curated and what we set out to be for the brand. So not just a swimwear, it's a bodysuit, it's an intimate collection, and developing a full another line, which we plan to do. Will take some time to make sure it's right. It has the right price point, so it's accessible to everyone and not just getting into too much of an exclusive luxury type brand. Definitely something that you want to aspire to, an aspirational brand. But those things will take time, and we'll try to our best to continue to offer, as much as we can to all our customers. One sustainable initiative that we like to tackle in the future, we've done a lot this year, right? So we give back to various organizations that support women's and girls and youth rights. We want to reduce much as waste as possible. So we've already started that a year ago, and we are in on track to complete that with reducing the packaging waste that we have. So there's a protective lining, tissue lining that we still have to put in our boxes. All our boxes and our packaging are made from recyclable materials or plant based. We want to be 100% plant based going forward. We want to not really create new packaging, meaning branding on the boxes, which creates an extra cost, an extra dye that eventually gets passed on to the consumer. But removing our hang tags, removing those extra pieces, like, that it comes from us. And at the end of the day, it's just creating more waste for you to throw away. Maybe some people recycle, maybe some can't or don't have the ability to. So we want to make sure that all the packaging, which is 90% of the waste, is out of there. And then the one for the future that we're looking at is really doing a better job of adding value, more value into the supply chain that we have now. So looking at what that looks like for buying more dead stock fabrics, just being more involved in that process to create a full value chain. We fell in love with this material like in 2018, 2017, 2018 when we were doing our research before the brand started. And we looked at, using dead stock fabrics. And, we ran into a little bit of issue because when we started testing and it required more fabric and, now that fabric's out of stock or bringing limited quantities and excuse me, and then the style picked up. So just trying to figure out that piece of it and not having so much turnover in production. So now we produce 3 times a year. So now that we have with the rise of this fabric and our supplier, we're able to have this fabric more in abundance, that this is better for the environment. It creates its own biomass when properly disposed at its end of life. It lasts longer. So there's not going to be a need to turn it over and, throw it away as fast as most garments are made to be. I've tested this fabric and washing it incorrectly, and it still holds up. So just the longevity of this fabric. It took some time for us to look at lots of different textiles, lots of different manufacturing companies, understanding their practices, understanding what is better, eco-friendly, is recycled plastics better, or the Omnisole that we have that we use is better because again, it doesn't require the use of plastic bottles still with the mentality, oh, it's good because it's recycled plastics. Well, we're trying to get away from plastics, right? Which is quite hard to do because it's literally in everything, right? It's like sugar. Sugar is occurring in everything, either naturally or man made. So we try to get away from just those type things and try to look at other solutions that are a little bit further in sustainability. And Omnisole, Echo, and its whole line of products have always been there to revamp their technology, continue to improve on their technology, and not use just this is good because it's recycled, but always improving the technology to be better for the environment and how it's being produced. And Omnisole honestly has done that from day one for us. It feels better, it lasts longer, um, and we just continued. I can't get away from the feel, and my customers feel why our bikinis are so special. They understand and they get it. So that's Omnisole was just it made it easy once you put it on. You're like, oh, I understand why this bikini is an investment. And I like people literally put it, and I don't even say anything, get into the too technical details. People will put it on and they'll literally start petting themselves because they feel so good and confident. And it just hugs you. As a woman, you want to feel sexy, you want to feel secure and confident in a garment, and that fabric just does it. It just does it. So we're looking at, we've been partners with Cloverleaf for a long time, 1% for the planet, trying to, our annual revenue before profits didn't donated to these causes and paying for offsets throughout each quarter through all our business shipping activities, not just when a customer buys something. So we partner with those initiatives that help us kind of put our money where our mouth is, so to speak. Um, the thing that we're learning as sustainability still evolves and there's more guidance around it, and especially with the government getting involved and kind of setting some real standards and rules and regulations for climate change, and I see that passing down into the fashion industry as well, is not just to offset the carbon initiatives or buy offsets or anything like that, but really put the money back into the infrastructure to plant more trees, to do more, because I can ship from Brazil and have it from Brazil to me, where the fabric is produced, have it made in Brazil, have it shipped to me, and then I'm shipping it, all over the country. So those are the offsets, but also how can I really truly impact not just my little logistical chain, but like you mentioned, the whole fashion. How can I be one of those cogs that really starts a revolution to help other initiatives to be bigger than they are, right? So we're looking into figuring out what that looks like for us. We are in process of becoming, hopefully, B Corp certified. So joining bigger conglomerates and organizations that have a better fit for what we try to do for not just now, but the future. I think we've done that a great job because we've always started that. That wasn't just the new flavor of the month for a lot of brands that were starting out or visibility or bigger than us. It was always what we started with. We started with intention, right? Fashion is not my first background far as running a fashion business. I had to learn it myself. So learning from the predecessors, learning for the new technology, I found it really important to make sure that I wasn't repeating those things. And I found it of value to start that early as possible. Yes, I made mistakes along the way. Yes, I had different plastics or things that were unknowing to me that were, just a part of the manufacturing process or, sampling process or, literally running a fashion business. But as I learned and I understood to me how sustainability could be just very simple, I made sure that I always held those values. As much of a trend setter that I want to be, I still have to take time with intention when I design to make sure that, again, it's not just a swimsuit. It can be a bodysuit. It can be an undergarment. It can be shapewear. It can be something that's of other use throughout the year. Um, to be sustainable, right? How can I help my manufacturer reduce the plastics they send to me? Because even though our ethics of sustainability are aligned, they still have practices for us in the US that would be like, oh, well, that's an easy fix. But in their environment, they may not have the infrastructure to do so, right? So how can I help her how can I be a mentor to her in that space of this is how we are going to do business together? And then that may cascade down to her as either saving her money and resources that she doesn't have to send or do. And that may carry across to her other partners or just finding ways to just be better. And I think that's every day that you can just be better, right? Okay, so if 90% of the waste when I buy something is the packaging, and I get so annoyed with brands that say they're sustainable, and then I get the packaging in the mail and it's all this plastic, it's all this paper, it's all these extra notes, it's all this extra stuff. I literally sometimes will and I hate this, and if it doesn't fit I'll do it, but I will literally return it to them and with all the paper. Like, I won't take it and throw it away. I will return it to them to show them how much waste there is. We had some, a wedding gift delivered to us yesterday, and they sent us two packages from the same company. They literally could have packed it in one box. I mean, it was literally a nice, cute box with their branding all over it, but it was literally a little pillowcase in one huge box. Amazon is a um, biggest of this, right? You're sending one toothbrush in a huge box with all this packing materials when you could have sent it um, with the other stuff that I ordered, or and I get away from these companies like this because I see what their practices and they're not going to change, or it's going to be harder for them to change. Even sending it on a different day in one package still doesn't reduce the amount of waste in packaging alone, right? So I just wake up every day just trying to do better and looking at our operations and seeing where we can, um, not just to save a buck, not just to say we're sustainable, not just to greenwash, because we're very careful about always proponing and preaching that message because we've always been sustainable. We've always tried to capitalize on these initiatives, not just from a marketing or profit standpoint, because fashion is expensive, but just from doing the right thing and making the right decisions that make sense, right? Because eventually, instead of buying the $5 t-shirt 50 times, they're going to buy a bold swimsuit one time and see the lasting ability that they have, and they're spending the exact same money, right? Now we have a lot of abundance of secondhand stores popping up all over. People are thrifting. I've been thrifting since I was little. I love it, right? Just those old school values, the hand me downs, those, you have siblings, or, finding another person's trash as a treasured thing. That's what's new in our world. That's what's happening now, right? Especially in the capital of Los Angeles. We have so many fashion brands and fashion stores here is that it just makes sense. It just you just have to. because you don't want to be a part of the waste. In 5 years feels so far away, but I know it's not. In 5 years, Bolts will be one of the leading sustainable and inclusive swimwear and intimate wear brands there is. That is my goal. Um, we want to expand by adding an intimates and undergarments collection, which we are still developing. We were early, and when we tested it out, now we're in the process of trying to bring it to fruition. Um, and then just again being very intentional about it. So in 5 years, we hope to have an extended line with undergarments and intimates. We hope to have additional accessories and just products that make sense, not just things to make things to add to the bottom line, just to sell things, but to be really intentional about bringing products that people need, to help them live better lives or live, yeah, just live better lives, things that they enjoy, things that they can share with other people that create a community. And for me, I love meeting founders and other people in their business. And so creating that community feel.